So today we have two great presenters with us. So hopefully Donnell will be able to talk soon. Donnell is the Vice President of Community Foundations for the Council of Michigan Foundation. She's also the Executive Director of Midwest Community Foundation Ventures. It's a support organization that promotes individual community foundation growth. And we also have with us today Bernardino Casadei. He's the General Secretary of Associazione, the Association of Italian Grantmakers. He has spent 13 years introducing the concept of community foundation in Italy, mainly by designing and managing a specific project promoted by the Casadei Foundation. So the facilitators are me, Daniela, at Wings, and Ana Pino, who is the Knowledge Management Coordinator. So our agenda today, I'm giving a brief welcome, and we're not having a poll. Ana is going to put some question in the, she's going to put some question in the pen, so hopefully you can type the answers in the chat panel. So we're going to, Donnell is going to give an overview of the toolkit and practical tips on the organization's sustainability. And Bernardino is going to present highlights from the field. So he's going to talk about his experience. And we'll have some time for question and answer, and then a small evaluation. So you probably all know about WINGS. So we are the only truly worldwide membership organization that represents and serves a broad community of grantmakers, foundation, and philanthropy support organizations. Our mandate is global, so we are in all regions of the world. Our mission is to strengthen philanthropy and a culture of giving through mutual learning and support, knowledge sharing, and professional development. So our organization toolkit is open and free, so you can access it through our website. Donnell is going to be talking about it, so I won't talk much. And this is in our homepage. So our website is wingsweb.org, and we have a webinar calendar, so that is also available in our website. So for more information, I'll put our information again, our email in there. So, and now I would like to pass the floor to, if Donnell is still having problem, we might start with Bernardino. Donnell, can you type if you cannot, if you can speak? Can you try to speak to see if you can hear us, if we can hear you? Okay, I think that's not the idea, but we'll start. I apologize. We'll start with Bernardino while we get Donnell on board. Okay. So Bernardino, I have your presentation. So so I think it's best to start with you, since Donnell is still having problems to connect. And we're trying to help her. So, Bernardino, can you hear me?
I can. So you will not share my desktop, but you will make the presentation.
No, because in this, I will share. If I can do that, okay. In this system, I think it's better, Bernardino, if you can just, I can just put your presentation.
Okay, as you prefer, no problem.
Okay. And if it's fine, if you can speak a little louder, that would be great.
All right. Let me know if this is fine.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll give you the floor.
Okay. Thanks so much for this opportunity. My duty is to present you a case study about Associazione. Associazione is the Association of the Italian Grantmakers, and we serve both community foundation, corporate foundation, private foundation. And my duty today is try to tell you how we were able to take off in a time of crisis, because I will describe the activity that we have developed between 2009 until 2012. That has been a time of economic difficulties in Western world, in Italy especially. But we were still able to achieve some results. So I will start by make a comparison of what has happened in 3 years' time, from the 1st of January 2009 until the 1st of January 2012. At the beginning, we had, Assifero was born in 2003, but at the beginning was really more a small club made by some community foundation and a group of foundation mainly located in Brescia, that is a city not so far from Milan, where the president of Assifero is from. So in 2009 we had just 18 members, but it was declining. There have been some members that were stopped paying their fees, and people were started getting tired and thinking about probably leaving, and so the association was in a kind of time of crisis. He had a year deficit in the budget of nearly €2,000, but still during the previous time it was able to accumulate some reserve for more than €33,000. That is very little money, but still was allowed to carry on for some years. At that time there was just one part-time assistant, and really it was almost unknown both in Italy and abroad. We had a website, there was about 1,000 visits each month, but still things were not really growing. So after 3 years, at the beginning of this year, we had 71 members, and it's growing. Now we are almost 80. We had at the end of 2011 a surplus of about €74,000, and we were able to accumulate reserves for almost €180,000. We had 2 full-time staff, and we start to be well known both in Italy and also abroad. In 2010 we have hosted a wing forum, and we start to establish, we are a member of Daphne, and we have several relationships with many organizations abroad, and there have been some visits coming from other countries to know what we are doing. And the system is growing. We are 4,000 visitor monthly visits in the web. We now have also, of course, Facebook, a blog, Twitter, Flickr, and all those kind of things. And so we start to be to achieve a sustainability. So if you want to go to the next slide, what really was the starting point and what has made the difference, we believe, was the decision of the private foundation, that is the Cariplo Foundation, to provide Assifero with one of the senior staff, that was me, for 3 years at no cost. The goal of this grant was to see whether it would be possible to establish a sustainable and thriving association of Italian garment makers. We had in the past several attempts to create association of a foundation, but all of them had failed. And so this was kind of a challenge. Really, not everybody believed that would have been possible, but this was the challenge that the Cariplo Foundation decided to take by lending a person for 3 years to develop the the association. So we had developed a strategy, and this maybe is the most interesting point of what I'm going to say, so if we can go on. And the strategy had, in my mind, three major elements. First one was to involve members as much as possible, and to make them really participating in the developing of the association. So we try to organize public events, we try to create and promote affinity groups among themselves. We try to organize meetings, both informal and formal, both with technology or physically, and we try to follow up on those meetings. We try to make those members more active as possible, and this is not very easy, but we did our best. And so to do this, we spend a lot of energy in keep them every time always informed of what we were doing. People sometimes complain that I'm a spammer because I'm sending them maybe too many emails or messages or whatever, really to keep them knowing that things are going and try as much as possible to solicit their input. Sometimes, well, often it's difficult to receive some input, but it is important to give all the time them the opportunity to do something, and then eventually you may be able to get something for the organization. And at the same time, we start to provide services and to answer to their question in a very quick way. Usually we provide the answer right away, or at the latest within 24 hours. Or sometimes it's not possible, so we provide a interim answer for the time being, because we need to do more research. But people know that whenever they ask, if they call us, they will immediately receive something, and so they feel that they got something from working with us. At the same time, we spend quite a bit of energy in raising our profile, and so in taking part of activity to change the laws, but mostly to change the practice. To change the laws can be quite complicated, can be difficult, something we were able to manage, but this is very difficult. But very often, once you have changed the law, what is more important is that you have to deal with all the public administration or whatever to explain them how really to make those laws becoming effective. So we're dealing more on what we call the practice. And we were able to present ourselves not so much as a body that were there to defend the interests of this member, but much more as a center of knowledge. So we provide to those civil servants with a lot of information and on how really things work. So they were more able to identify the best practice, and also this was for us the opportunity to build up a trust relationship, and therefore it happened that before the document they were calling us to ask us if they were right or not. So this for us was quite important. At the same time, we have been involved in international activities. As I already said, we have organized, we have hosted the Wings Forum in 2010, and we are now member of Daphne, and so we try also to be a place where we can gather information on the best practice coming from all over the world, and then to present them to the Italian Foundation, and eventually to help them to make them into practice in their own activity. For instance, we are doing quite an interesting job in helping one foundation to introduce in their own community the concept of collective impact or other new ideas that we're able to pick up from what is happening abroad. And at the same time, we are becoming a reference point for people in other countries that are willing to know what is happening in Italy, or they may be interested in something that we may end up having made in a nice way. Another one, probably one of our most effective tool is our weekly newsletter. Every Monday morning at around 8 a.m. we send to a number of people our newsletter, and it's not anything very complicated. It's quite a press agency of what has appeared on the newspaper during the week on philanthropy, but he has created quite a good deal of consensus. So in few years, we were 3 years ago around 500 people were receiving it. Now there are almost 2,000, and we have received a number of emails telling us that they really appreciate our newsletter. And even just a few weeks ago, we have made a survey, an internet survey to all the readers, and we have received, till now, it's still not finished, we have received a rate of answering of about 25%. That is quite good for such a survey. And this is not a major work. It's something that can be done relatively easy. We do it almost at no cost. I mean, there is the person who works with me that spends quite a bit of time in researching on the media, on the press, all the news that can be interesting, but people really appreciate it, and this was a product that allow us to increase in a quite important way our visibility. All of this was done by trying to keep the operating cost as low as possible. And to do this, from one side, we have certainly used as much as we could our members. So we are hosted by them when we organize a meeting. Also, we don't have really a facility, and so our member can host us whenever we need it. And so this has keep, of course, our operating costs quite low. And we use a lot technology for our meeting, for everything. We try to do as much as we can with technology. And for so small number, it's relatively easy to get the technology for free or for very, very low cost, and so be able to provide quite a huge number of services and opportunity. Now we are developing also a community platform for our member that could be open also for the grantees, and all of this has been done with very, very limited cost and investment for us. So the use of technology is allowing us to do a lot with very, very small investment. But of course, nothing is perfect, and so there are some critical points that I've tried to identify in the next slide. So first of all, we have found extremely heavy to manage the affinity groups. It's extremely time-consuming, and often all the work is on our shoulder. Until now, I found difficult to really make our members to take the leadership in one of those affinity groups. And so this is becoming very, very difficult to keep on going. We have the problem that in most of foundations are understaffed, and so people have very limited time, and also the meeting is quite time consuming. So this is something we need to work out in a in a different way, because otherwise we start an affinity group, but then we are not able to keep on going because everything is on our shoulder, and we are just two people and we cannot do as much. Another problem that we have found is the fact that IT literacy in the foundation sector in Italy is not particularly high, and therefore it's somehow difficult to make the foundation staff and certainly the board members to use and share this instrument, and also to use and share their knowledge. While in the States, the listservs, people are quite used to, when they have a problem, to post a question and then to receive help from all his colleagues. In Italy, it doesn't work. People usually, when they have a problem, they try to solve by themselves, and sometimes they make trouble, bigger trouble, but they found very difficult to ask to their peer if they already deal with this specific subject, and so which were the solutions that we have found. So this is quite a cultural obstacle to really use the communication tool that we have now available, and that could allow us to work in a much more effective way. And another limit that we have found, that when we started, we believed that we could use as also as a form of revenue the very high knowledge that we got on community foundation, and so to develop some project with some other foundation or other institution to promote community foundation also as a source of revenue. This was done a couple of times, but at the end has been quite limited. So which are the perspectives of our work? And so this is going to be my last slide. So if you can go on. Okay, perfect. Okay, right now, Assifero has now reached its sustainability. We are able to cover all our operating costs. The grant from the Caripro Foundation is finished, but we can cope with this and be able to pay all the costs of our organization. But probably we need to change our institutional structure. The fact I'm probably now it's time eventually to find some other solution on the people that should work in this institution. Maybe I'm too senior to carry on the activity of an association that is relatively new. Probably you can have a more cost-effective structure by having a younger person taking the leadership. Also, the person that have really start the structure maybe is not the best one to manage the sustainability of it. So we need to rethink and to question if this solution is going to be the best one. We certainly need to rethink our own identity. We have started with the idea of being the association of grant makers, but then we found out that it's not easy to identify who really is a grant maker, because many foundations are both grant making and operating. Many foundations are both grant maker and grant seeker. So we really need to identify the identity of our association. And finally, it's time, now that with the fixed structure we are able to cover the core cost of the association, it's time that Assifero could play a leadership role in creating common projects, maybe in the field of technology or another field, in which we can join forces and create a new tool or new improvement that could be important for the philanthropic sector, and eventually also for the charitable sector. So this is, I hope this can give you an idea of the work that has been done in these 3 years in Italy. Thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you, Bernardino, for your talk. And we will connect Donnell through the phone. So hopefully she will be sharing her presentation and talking with us on the phone. So if anybody has trouble hearing Donnell, she will try to speak as loud as she can because she's talking on the phone, and please let us know. Okay, thank you. Donnell, we'll put her on the phone. Hi, Donnell, we're passing it to you. No, Donnell, cannot hear you. Hi, Donnell, just a second. I think we're having trouble hearing you. Can you hold on 1 second, please? Okay, thank you. Can you try again, Donnell? No. No, I don't think. No, I don't think anybody's hearing you. No. Okay. So just one more second. We'll try again. Okay. What we can do? What is that right here? Can you try again, Donnell? No. No, I don't think so. Can you try again now? No, this won't work. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's not working. Hello? No, mine is not working. Can you mute yourself? Italiana? Unmute yourself and talk.
Hi everyone. We apologize, we truly apologize, but we're having some technical trouble here.
No. We open for questions. Hello, can you hear me? No. Não está funcionando depois que eu cheguei. So unfortunately, Donnell, she's not connecting through the internet, and through the phone we cannot hear her. So I really apologize, and we just have to end shortly, and we'll just open the floor for question and answer. You can unmute your mic and ask some questions to Bernardino or to us to see if we can help you around the topic. So you can either unmute your mic or use the chat box to ask any questions to Bernardino about his presentation. So nobody has any questions to Bernardino? Okay, so so if you have any, so Bernardino, people are thanking you for your time and presentation, and I really apologize for Donnell. She's in another city and she's not having good internet connection, and this system doesn't work well without a good internet connection. So we will be sending Donnell's presentations really about our organization's sustainability toolkit, which is available in our website. So you can go to winsweb.org, and then you can access our toolkit, and you can ask questions afterwards. So we'll be sending Bernardino's presentation, our presentation, and Donnell's presentation, as well as this the record of this small webinar. So I really thank you for being here with us, and we will have more webinars coming soon, and hopefully the internet will help us in the next one. So our next webinar is on September 24th, and is about risky business, so stay tuned for that. And there is a question from Tori. Bernardino, do you have time to ask a question from Rosie? She want to know more about what is Associazione and how to say Associazione is sustainable. Talk about
I didn't really understand the question.
If you can talk about Associazione sustainability. I know you already present, and then
okay.
talk about the
Associazione
now.
Sustainable. That is, with our revenue we cover all our operating costs, and this is done almost after, I would say, 80% of the revenue are the fee. Then we have a little bit, but I would say 2-3-5% revenue investing our reserves, and then we start to have service to members, both for our annual meeting, but we do provide some assistance for the use of IT for managing of foundations, especially foundations, and we have some other service regarding developing of new tools, both operating tools for the foundation. So we managed some common projects with the involvement of several foundations that are interested. For instance, we have developed a kind of simplified project management tool that the foundation can use to give to their grantee, so they can present a better project and more organized project, and mainly this will allow to develop common languages among grantee and grantees, and this will allow us, for instance, to create some instruments for online both presentation and accounting what you are doing, but also to really collect all the knowledge that often the grantee develop during when they are making the project, but they never formalize, and so we stay at the head of the people that have run the project and will never become common knowledge of all the sectors. And so they're trying to work in that direction. And this because, as I said to you before, our administrative costs are extremely lean. We don't have any premise, so we don't pay any rent. We do 99% of our communication by internet, so we don't print, and our costs are just the cost of sending our annual report to our member and potential member, and therefore we really reduce the maximum of the administrative cost, and this allows us to provide quite a number of services, even with a budget that is less than 200,000. I would say 180,000 euro a year, considering all the cost of the staff and all the other costs, organizing events and publishing our annual report, etc. I don't know if I have answered the question.
And hello, yes, I think so, Bernardino, thank you. And then if anybody has any other question, Donnell's email or Bernardino's email, and our email is on the screen, so you can feel free to contact any of us, and we'll be sending the materials soon. Thank you, Bernardino.